What becomes of the households when the circle of elders grows heavy with voices that no longer speak the old stories?
The keeper of the long hearth called more listeners than the fire needed to warm.
Some sat through the turning of seasons, while the true tales of the first plows and the first boundary stones waited untouched.
The coals still glowed, yet fewer children learned the weight of a blade that had once cleared the ground for all who followed.
In the workshop, the master of the turning lathe watched as new apprentices planed the same length of oak day after day.
The young ones brought in to strengthen the line of memory sat with tools growing dull.
Elders at the evening meal noticed the bread still rose, yet the number of mouths had grown without the yield of remembered skill increasing.
When the late rains thinned the storehouse, the keeper spoke of a new counting stone said to measure every distant path without error.
Those who had spent seasons repeating the same idle motions were told their places would soon be taken by the stone's silent tally. Some returned to their own hearths.
Others walked the paths that led away from the settlement. Seasons turned.
The fields once cleared by many hands now showed wider strips where the boundary grass crept inward.
Children who should have learned the turning of the soil beside their elders found fewer skilled voices to stand with them.
The counting stone remained in its place, its markings unchanged, while the real counting of seed and harvest still fell to those who had always done it.
At the council circle, the keeper spoke again of the stone's coming strength.
Yet the questions that had first arisen beside the cold workshop benches lingered.
Who would teach the young the weight of a true blade when the idle ones had already been sent away?
What would happen to the trust between households when the work that once bound them was declared finished by a stone that never moved? The land itself began to answer.
Paths once worn smooth by daily labor grew narrow with disuse.
Storehouse ledgers showed smaller returns, even as the keeper claimed greater reach.
Elders sat longer at the hearth without new apprentices arriving to learn the old rhythms.
The counting stone stayed silent, while the real work of continuity passed to fewer and fewer.
If the habit of calling voices for show rather than need continues, the settlement will one day find its fields half-tended, its storehouses half-full, and its children standing at the edges of the working circle with no one left to show them how the rope of memory is passed from one generation to the next.
The stone will remain, but the households will have already grown quiet.
If the elders' telling warmed an ember within your breast, carry that flame beyond your own hearth, speak the remembered tale at your fire, set the rope of thought in another's hand, and stand upon the paths where the boundary stones mark the way.
Each voice added to the circle feeds the watch that tends our labor of knowing, and keeps the coals of inquiry glowing for the child yet to learn the weight of a true blade.
Leave marks beside the stones to guide a wandering kin. Follow the worn paths to the elders who hold the stores of knowledge, and by bringing your presence to this work, you keep the ancestral lesson moving along the line, so the flame passes whole from one generation to the next.